Hello and welcome to Unfudge Your Marketing. If you are a repeat listener, you know this is a show where I chat with business owners and leaders about marketing mistakes and mishaps and things that just didn't quite go as planned. But most importantly, we focus on the lessons learned. Today, we are doing things a bit differently on this show. I'm really excited for this. I'm flipping the script on myself, and I asked my friend and sales expert, Bryan McDonald, to come on the show and be the host and interview me as the guest. So things are a little different. I'm really excited for this conversation. I am going to let Bryan go ahead and introduce himself, and we'll kick off the conversation.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryan McDonald, a partner at On Purpose Growth. My partner Jeff and I, unlike most of our clients, love sales. We love the art of sales, and we work with people who have developed some skill, expertise, or love of something in corporate America or in the world, are now utilizing that to serve small to medium-sized business owners. With that skill, they're really good at the thing that they do, but sales is this foreign thing. They realize that it's a foreign thing to them. They realize that it's important to their success, and they're always trying to get better at it, master at it, feel natural. And when it comes to sales, marketing is important. So I'm eager to have this conversation with Kristi to kind of see where things are at and help her and you all in any way I can. So.
Yeah, and this is why you and I get along so well, because what you do for people in sales is what I do for them in marketing. It's like they hate it, they don't want to do it, it's this necessary evil, and like, let's get you to a place where you actually enjoy it and it doesn't feel so hard, and you get the results that you really want.
Love it.
Yeah. All right, so a little backstory, the reason that I asked Bryan if he'd be game to come on and have this reverse conversation with me and be my guest host, is I had a realization just in the past few months. I was just telling Bryan before we came on, I sat down and was talking with I call her my CFO in my business. We meet quarterly on my finances, work on projections, all that good stuff. And I sat down with her and she was basically like, what's going on? Like, where are your sales? And I was like, okay, that was like, I needed that. It was a little kick. And he's like, you're the market. We ended up like brainstorming, right? I'm talking to my CFO, but we ended up like brainstorming like my sales process and my marketing. She's like, you're the marketer. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I really sat with that conversation afterwards and thought about the fact that I am the marketer and I had been doing my marketing. My marketing didn't slip. I have my non-negotiables in my marketing. I execute them, right? I got my podcast, my LinkedIn, my emails, like my stuff goes out like a well-oiled machine. I practice what I preach when it comes to marketing. I am doing all of the things for my marketing, but I lost focus on my sales. I wasn't following up with my prospects. I wasn't like warming up that I do have a pipeline, but I just wasn't really nurturing it. And so that was kind of my big aha moment. And then I reached out to Bryan and I was like, hey, you want to come back on the show? I have an idea. So here we are.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's start here. This is where I see the problem, a problem, I should say, not the problem. And there's an assumption here. Why did you think marketing was sales?
See, here's the thing. I didn't think marketing was sales. I know that they're different. I just like, as I'm about to say this, I know that this is what I hear from clients too. Like, I did the marketing because that's what I enjoy. Like, I have a process for it and I have a strategy for it and I have my plan, and it's easier for me because I have the system and the process in place. And so I just kept doing my marketing. But sales, if I'm being perfectly honest, which obviously I'm coming on my own show, willing to like air my dirty laundry and be like, hey, I didn't do such a great job. Sales is the thing that I've always kind of gone in cycles. I could be really on it and then I just kind of let it fall. So I didn't confuse the two. I just deprioritized it.
Perfect. So what are you unclear about, or that's not the right, what stresses you out about sales?
All right. So if I'm being totally honest, and I started working with a business coach on this, actually it was probably like almost exactly a year ago. I have a lot of like rejection sensitivity stuff that I started to unpack when I was working with her. in terms of
Mhm.
like, well, if I don't follow up, then they can't tell me no, and then I don't have to feel
Exactly.
rejected. So I'll just avoid it. So I
So
think
that's
that's a
the
piece of it.
yeah. So that's the challenge is okay. So what's at risk?
I might start
What's at
regretting
risk?
this, Bryan. I'm starting to sweat.
I know. So what's at risk for you to not follow up? Like what's at risk if you're not following up with people?
If I'm not following up, the risk is I'm not selling. Because I have seen time and time again that people need to be followed up with. They may have every intention of the world of signing up with me, but especially for something like my lower ticket offer, like my power hour, it's one of those things that people are like, yeah, I'm going to get to that, but like not right now. I just have too much going on, or like, whatever the excuse is. And I think especially it's a different sales process in my experience, for my bigger ticket things.
Oh
But
yeah.
for those lower ticket, like entry level, which that's what I realized I need to push more of anyway, because it gives people that taste of working with me. And so when I'm
So
not following up with people, they let it fall by the wayside and they don't commit to signing up for the power hour.
so isn't that also rejection and a no?
Mm.
Isn't the same exact thing? So the thing that you're avoiding, you're actually causing.
Okay, that's super interesting. Mind blown. I never thought about it that way.
Right. That's the thing. So like for me, what I learned, like, so I'm not gonna project like I love rejection, right? Like that's not true. I just learned how to deal with that people pleasing rejection part of me. And all I'm doing in sales is I follow up with you and I manage my pipeline just to get an answer. I don't care what your answer is. That's my mindset.
Mm.
I don't care what your answer
Oh,
is
I
because
love
your answer
that.
is your answer.
Yeah.
Your answer is your
Yes.
answer, right? Because you can't convince anybody. I can't convince you of anything, and you can't convince me of anything. All I can do is give you information, create an environment where you make an answer. Make an answer. That doesn't sound right.
Decide. Make a decision.
You make a decision. Make an answer. Make a decision. That's
Yes.
what rainfall. Where
I
you make a
helped you out.
decision. Where you make a decision, right? That's people
Yeah.
who master sales understand that you control the process
Mm.
to 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 make the outcome happen. I held back there to say control the outcome because you can't control the outcome. You can just control the
Right.
process. Think about this in marketing. Like,
Right.
what do you tell your clients in marketing? Like, is it something similar? Like, hey, you just got to control like that. You're getting things out there. You're consistent. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? So that's
I love
the mind. Oh, go ahead.
I love that perspective though, because I've always felt that way, is I just want a decision. Like I think that's one thing that drives me really nuts about the sales process and following up with the prospects is like, if people don't get back to me, I'm like, just tell me no, for God's sakes. And then I can like put it to bed and move on. So I love that you bring that to this. I love that you brought that point up, is like, you're really just trying to get an answer, yes or no, and then you move on.
Yeah, and the thing you're doing to avoid is still causing the same thing to happen. You
Yeah.
haven't removed the no. Actually, here you haven't removed how to not making a sale. You haven't removed that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Right.
that's what people have to realize. Right. So then
Yeah.
what things, so what you have to do is you just got to simplify this for yourself. Right. Because people avoid things that they complicate.
Yes. That's why my
Right.
business is called Marketing Uncomplicated.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. So what do you need to do? What do you need to do to simplify sales in general? That's a pretty broad question, but you know more about what was going on. That's why it's a broad question.
Yeah, no, and I did want to get into this piece of the conversation because that is something I have recognized. However, I haven't necessarily been able to take steps to fix it yet. And I'm realizing maybe by the end of this call, I'll owe you for like some coaching advice. I'm I don't I don't have a specific process. And this is
Boom.
exactly what I do with my clients on the marketing side. When they don't have a process, they don't know what to do. They feel overwhelmed. They feel like there's too many things, too many options out there. It's unclear where to start, where it ends, what I have to do. It always feels like I'm not doing enough. And I think that's definitely at play for me in terms of my sales process, is like, I have a list of prospects on a whiteboard that I'm like, okay, I need to keep in touch with these people. But what does keeping in touch look like? Is it every week? Is it every other week? Do I create a nurture sequence, which I've never wanted to do because I don't want to treat my prospects all the same? So I've resisted some sort of automation because I'm like, but then what if somebody messaged me and then the email goes out and it looks like I didn't acknowledge that? Like I don't know. I have some resistance there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take a big leap and basically say that nurture sequence that you're referring to in your sales process is probably too much. I'm going to say this in another way, is you have a lot of untapped business in that whiteboard that you're looking at that you can get before you even apply a nurture sequence. Meaning, like, if you just do the right activities, and I'm going to break this down for you, you do the right activities, you may not need to add that nurture sequence.
Okay.
Sometimes, I'm not saying this here, is a nurture sequence is just an avoidance tactic.
Okay.
Doing the right stuff.
I like that.
So
I'm on board with that.
Let's think about this. Let's back this up. So think about this. Your marketing process, think about the sales process is an extension of it. That for whatever reason, I predict in your mind, once somebody gets out of your marketing and into your sales process, you think something else is starting per se, right? What I'm saying is think of it as a continuation, because then you're not stopping and starting. And then what are the steps that people need to go through? And then you just apply actions to those steps. So I'll give you an example. Like for me, I've broken down my sales process into behaviors and what's it called? Like a signal, right? Meaning like when you get out of my marketing, you get referred to me and you're introduced, you go into scheduling meeting step. Right. Then you go into we had the call and or what I call stated issue, stated gap. Right. That's the because it may take me 1 or 2 meetings for you to go, oh, this is my problem. Right.
Yeah.
Then it's agreed upon solution proposal. And when I look at my sales process and I have those out in HubSpot from left to right, I know when you're in this step, I know what actions I have to take.
Okay.
So then my sales process tells me what to do. Right now, I think you're looking at a whiteboard going, what in the world do I do with that? Right?
Yes.
So actually, so what's one major thing that would apply to not everybody, a lot of people that are on that board that you have that you could do today?
I mean, just reach out. Like some of them I know. There's one person on that board who will not respond to me unless I call her. But if I call her first thing in the morning, she will pick up the phone and she will talk to me. But everybody else, I tend to email.
Yeah.
What's that?
So you already know what to do with her.
Yes.
Right. Just by looking at it. Right. And that's just that person. So the other people, it's just follow up with them. And what I do is, for a lot of times, and I'm not saying you say this, I'm just sharing this for everybody else, is they look at those follow-ups and go, okay, how do I follow up and what do I do? They're like, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound easy.
Yes.
My whole mindset is pick up where you left off. Hey, Kristi, the last time we talked, you were looking at me doing your website. We talked about getting together. Do these times work to talk again or something like that? All I do is build a bridge from where we left off to where we want to go. That's my follow-up. I never use checking in. I need an answer. Any of this like stereotypical sales language, I
Yeah.
throw that out the door, right? Because
Yeah.
they know it's coming. They want a partner. They don't want somebody to sell them something.
Yes. This is another reason we get along, Bryan.
I think stereotypical sales tactics do more harm than good.
Yeah, and
Unless
again, I say the same thing on the marketing side is like those like icky thing, you know, that's no, we don't need to do that. Like you can do it in a way that feels good to you and get the results you want.
That's why I say nurture sequence could be too much right now, because to me, like leverage things like that are more for volume when you don't have capacity. I want to be clear about this. So like marketing, right? I'm casting more of I'm going to call it a wider net, not a wide net, a wider net. I need something that's leveraged to pull in where I get lower numbers. And when I'm lower numbers, like you're in my sales process, I'm going to work with you. My belief is your sales pipeline needs to be pretty big to have a nurture sequence.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm actually really relieved that I don't need to have one. I like that. I'm more on board with that.
More is not better.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And people believe that, the answer is, and I think we talked about this before, is like sometimes people scale bad, right? Like if I got a wide net, I'm just gonna make it wider and it's gonna work. Like, no, like I'm looking for consistent results, not random results, right? So you may not need to get to the sales pipeline volume to need a nurture sequence to get the business that you want. And I'm stressing right? Because I don't know the answer, right? Because when you do the right marketing and you master sales, for people like us and most people watching, you may not need that. You may not need, I'm stressed, you may not need it, right? Like, because depending on how many clients you can actually handle and how big of a business you want it. I mean, you can I have clients making $1 million a year in personal income, and they don't have a nurture sequence in sales.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's such a great point. And again, this is another area where you and I are so aligned, is that more isn't always better, and doing things strategically instead of just trying to get more numbers. I mean, it's the same thing when I talk about a marketing funnel for business owners. It's like you could put as many people as you want, try and keep filling the top of that funnel. But if you don't have the rest of it in place in terms of getting people on an email list and nurturing them over time with, just like regular email communications going out, not a sales sequence, different. If you don't have that structure in place, you could keep filling that funnel all day long, but everyone's falling out the side and they're not coming down to turn into a client at the end of the day. So I totally agree with you. And I see what you're saying. So Bryan, since I'm a very concrete thinker, I'm already, as you're talking about HubSpot, I'm thinking like, okay, I use Moxie for my CRM. And ever since I implemented it, I've like known I need to be doing more in there. It's a work in progress. I take baby steps. But I'm already thinking like, okay, if I could set this up in Moxie to say these are, because you were saying like there's behaviors and signals that you're looking for. And then there's, right, of how you're moving people along. So can you give an example of that? Like what could,
let's just do yours.
Like what those stages might be.
Let's just do yours. Yeah, let's just do yours, right? Like, so give me an idea of what happens in general when somebody gets in your sales process and goes through. Just talk to me about it. You don't worry about a sales process. Like, what's it look like?
Yeah, so I would say all the people on my board have had what I would call a discovery call with me. So they've had an initial, like, let's talk about the problems I'm having. Let's talk about the services that you provide and like have that conversation. So they've all done that as the first step. You want to keep going?
What happens after that? Keep going.
So then what happens after that, it really depends on the person. So like if I don't get a sense from them that they are ready for a proposal, I'm not going to send a proposal. If they're like, yeah, this all sounds like, yeah, your offer sounds great. I would like to be able to see it. Like, what does the package include and all the details? Like, then I'll send a proposal. But that's for the bigger ticket stuff, right? Like for my entry level power hour, you book it online and pay and you schedule the time. Like there's not a whole process involved.
let's run with a bigger ticket item because I think one that
Yeah.
there's a lot more potential there. What I think it is initial call, discovery call to proposal. I don't can't. So
Okay.
and two, I'm inferring this. As much as this sounds like a linear thing, it's not necessarily a linear thing because people can jump over a step. It's
Okay.
about how they flow down that process. So
Yep.
like for instance, some people for you may go from discovery call to proposal. Some people may need to schedule the second call to get them over the over the top into the proposal. So what you need to do
Yeah.
is you need to assess after that first discovery call in your sales process. You need to figure out if you need to make them an offer to meet again or get them a
Hmm.
proposal, right? So that's like something you're going to have to build for
Yeah.
yourself, whatever it is, awareness, questions, whatever, right? Because you should be telling them what the next step is, not the other
Yep.
way around, right?
Yeah.
This is like where sales turns into like leadership, in my opinion, right?
Hmm.
I'll say it this way: the whole like a confused buyer never buys. When I apply that to the sales process, you got to tell them at the end of the meeting, like, hey, here's what I think we should do next. Lead them,
Yeah.
right? Because they don't know, right?
Hmm.
Unless they're going, hey, I want a proposal, and you think that's fair. Okay, we're going to go there. But a lot of people,
Yep.
you're gonna have to tell them.
Yeah.
So then
I
that
that
means you need to know
resonates.
what the next step is.
Yes. That resonates so much in a couple of ways. One being, I'm working with a business coach right now who has an interesting model. She actually helped me hire, onboard, train a VA who I'm offloading some tasks to. But there's a lot of leadership learning in that for me, which has been really interesting. So I totally see what you're saying because even some of the feedback she's giving me on me leading my VA or not leading her as effectively as I could be, I can totally see how that translates to these discovery calls that I'm having with clients and not like taking the ownership in that room to say, okay, this is what I think we need to do. This is what we need to do next. Not even I think. This is what we need to do next.
Yeah, they many times they won't say it, but they need you to tell them what, like they need you
Yes.
to lead them, right? Because
Yep.
they're stereotypically very stuck, uh, not sure how this works. Like you know how your system and you know how your process works, but they have no idea, right?
Yep.
And I go for peer-to-peer relationships in sales processes, right? So we're equals, right? Yes, I know more about this subject than you, but we're equals, and we're going to move through this
Hmm.
together versus uh, one being subservient to the other, right?
Right.
Like I don't want to, and that goes back to the very first thing we talked about is I make it okay for people to tell me no, so I
Hmm.
don't have to chase you because I don't care what your answer is because I don't want to be chasing you.
Yeah.
It's a waste of my time,
Yes.
right? In general,
Yes.
right?
Okay, so let's talk about that. Because I have had some interesting experiences. I was just talking, so I have a business. I call her my biz bestie. We like hold each other
Oh,
accountable. We do business planning. Like we just had a meeting this week to say like where we were at for planning for next year and kind of. And I said to her, I'm like, I still continue to struggle with these people who don't commit. And again, talking about the bigger packages. I, for a while, told myself, if they don't commit right away, they're not going to. Like, just based on what I've experienced, they're either ready and they're like, yup, or we just need another conversation, maybe to your point. And then they're ready to say yes, or I need to convince them why I'm the better choice as opposed to hiring someone to just execute marketing without the strategy first. Like, whatever, there's some nuance there. But I have had so many instances of people who don't commit and I keep following up, and I've done a better job at it this year than any other year prior in terms of not giving up and just keep reaching out, just keep staying with them, like random touch points. It could be way more process oriented and structured, which I will work on.
yeah.
But I just had a check-in with somebody who fell into that bucket. No joke. I've been following up with them for a year and a half. They finally said yes to meeting with me again. We had a great first conversation. I really felt like I got a sense of what had changed that would make them more likely to say yes now than before. And I was so excited. We had that conversation. And I said, well, I think the next step, because he's like, oh, could you send me a proposal? And I said, well, I think the next step would be, let's set up a sales call. I want to put together some slides and really talk this through. So this is a new thing that I've just started doing since working with the business coach.
Perfect.
And that next meeting went so well. I was like, I know his problems. I'm showing him how I can solve those problems. Like, here's why my offer makes sense for this. It was such a great call. And then we get to the end and he decides to tell me that something had been going on behind the scenes and there was something in the works. And so he wouldn't be able to make a decision on this right now. And he would like to set up another call with his business partner down the road when they have a better sense of this other thing. And I was so freaking ticked off.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why did we bother with the sales call? And then I went back to the place of, okay, maybe that's true. Maybe what I told myself before is true. People are either, they're going to commit or they're not going to commit. And so how long do I need to actually follow up with them?
You know, when you said that, I thought to myself, she knows exactly what happens, but you're ignoring it. You know, and I'll articulate this, like either somebody says yes, or somebody says, hey, I need another conversation. Or I forget what the other thing you said was. So those are the three options, right? And you just have to, if that's how this works, I'll call that the buyer process, that how can I do this? Here's a seller, here's the buyer. You move down the process together. That's how they move down with you or they remove. So one, you have to consistently assess that. And if you can't check one of those three boxes, then you just have to be people like, hey, I'm thinking like maybe this is not something that you want to do. And shut up and let them go. Yeah, no, I don't want to do this. Okay, perfect. Right. I'll say it for people. It's uncomfortable, but when you learn to do it, it saves you time, energy, resources, and it's way more empowering, right? It's like between you and me and freaking everybody watching, like I don't have time for children, right? Like, hey, it's okay for you to tell me no. We're all adults in the room. Right? Like that's kind of my mindset around that. Like, just tell me no.
Yeah.
So let's take this back to like you leading people through is I would even tell people like at the end of a process, like, hey, usually like people say like they want to go with it or they need another meeting, or whatever the third thing is like, hey, what I'm sensing is you may need another meeting. Like, did I kind of get that right? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's meet again. Right? Like lead them. Go with your gut. And if you're wrong, they'll correct you, right? And if you do it in a way of like, hey, it's okay, whatever your answer is, like this is a lot about tonality and body language, that they'll pick it up the right way. They'll know that you're serving them versus like selling them something. And I think you actually discovered something that I didn't get to, but I'll mention now, is the sales process. As somebody moves through it, the farther down they go, the more value it should add to them. So what I think you just discovered is that sales meeting around, hey, here's your problems and slides. My hypothesis is that adds value to your prospects, and that's how you should repeat it, because it's like a discovery call. Hey, let's meet and let's go over all of your issues and let's talk about them. So I make sure you understand that I understand your problems, right? Like you're heard and understood. And when people are heard and understood, they typically, and they have urgency, they buy. So like in my sales process, right? I talk to you for 30 minutes, then I make an offer to spend another 30 minutes with you. And my sales call is you fill out a questionnaire where we get in and we dig into things, kind of like we're digging into things right now, where I just give you the answers to the test. Here's what you got to do. I give you some things to use to add value to you. And what happens is the right people go, God, this is the right answer. This is what I'm looking for, but I can't do it without Bryan. Hey, let's work together.
I love that.
And what you mentioned was a version of what I described, right? It's just a version of it, right? It doesn't have to be the same exact thing. It adds value, right? And then the last thing is like, I wouldn't be, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just prefacing this for everybody else. I wouldn't be afraid of pushing for urgency, like asking questions like, hey, like, does it even matter if you fix this now? Or like, what if you just keep doing the same stuff? Like, why don't you just keep doing the same stuff, right? And if they don't start selling you on, no, this is why I got to do this now, they're not ready. I'm not. It's not that they're not a good prospect. They're just not ready, right? I'm looking for readiness, right? And I would lean.
And that's actually that was the point that my business buddy brought up to me. She was like, "It sounds to me like they're just not ready to buy. So you like having those meetings with the people who are ready to buy because you're like, okay, let's get this going, let's go."
And I think, so and my gut instinct says that you're ignoring when you know that answer.
Yeah.
Like, because we don't like it when people aren't ready. So we make excuses for them in the sales process.
Yes.
And that's why I'm like, and I seem harsh, but it's not like I'm like that. It's like, hey, it's okay. You're not ready. I'm going to be here when you are. Like, come on back. Right?
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. Like, because sometimes helping people come to an answer, whatever that answer is, serves them more. Because I hate seeing people stuck. Right? And when they're stuck, they just spin. Like this guy, he could be in the same spot. I don't know what the reason why, and I'm not asking you to share why he couldn't move forward, but he could be in the same spot 6 months from now.
Yep.
Right? Because they chose to do nothing. And they want something to change.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So it's just like, hey, like, making okay go, yeah, I'm not going to change, or just helping them understand that actually serves them, whether we work with them or not.
Yeah. Well, and I loved your point too about giving them that. What was the verbiage you used? Like, it sounds like this isn't a good time for this. Or you said something like that. Like giving them, like, let's just put it out there. Like, I'm going to give you the option to say no to me right now so that we can like get this out in the air and clear it up.
Yeah. This is the approach. Like, I treat them like I would treat a friend who, like, I'd be like, hey, it just sounds like objectively, hey, it just sounds like this is not a good time. Like, hey, that's okay. Right. Like, I'll sometimes I say like, hey, I'm a big person, I'm an adult. Like if knows your answer, knows your answer. I've told people, I'm not going to stalk you like a crazy salesperson. Right. Like, and what has happened is a good portion of those people have come back because I didn't pressure them. They realized it wasn't a good time. And when they come back and go, hey, let's just do this. I don't need anything else. I just want to, how do I sign up? Like, okay, perfect. Right?
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So I never run over. I'm recording these episodes, but since I'm the guest, I'm like, this is so good. I just want to keep, I mean, I want to as the host too, but I'm like, oh my God, I feel like we could talk about this forever. All right. So we might need to do like another part to this, but I do think we should wrap it up because I hate running over on people. I want to respect people's time. Okay. I just want to share some of the highlights, Bryan, that I'm taking away from this conversation. Okay. Having a clear sales process is important, just as important as it is to have a clear marketing process. So having a clear sales process where you are taking people through steps, looking for those behaviors and those signals to move them through. And every conversation you have with them, you are suggesting what that next step is. And so it's not just kind of leaving it open-ended. These are the things that I'm really taking from this conversation that I've definitely room for improvement for sure.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say too. Having the process, moving people through it, getting answers. What is the next logical step? And giving people that, you know what, it sounds like maybe this isn't the right time. Because the whole goal, like you said, is like, let's just get an answer. That was the other piece you said at the beginning, is like, I don't care if it's a no, I just want an answer.
Correct.
And
Right?
and the other thing that you turned back around on me at the very beginning was, by avoiding those conversations because I'm afraid of being rejected, I'm already being rejected because they're choosing not
You're
to work
being
with me.
rejected. That's the mind F that people don't realize, is
Yes.
when I avoid something, it's still happening.
Yes. You like totally blew my mind in this conversation, Bryan. I am so thankful for your willingness to come on the show,
This is
do
fun.
this kind of something little different here.
This is
And if you
great.
didn't totally hate it, maybe we'll have to do it again.
Definitely. This was awesome. I loved it.
All right. Well, for everyone out there, this episode was a little bit different, and we did focus more on sales than marketing, but they are both equally important. And so I was really happy to have this conversation. I really appreciate Bryan's willingness to come on the show. Bryan, I need to give you this opportunity as my thank you for doing this. How can people connect with you and learn more about the work that you do?
So I'm all over LinkedIn, and all my social media are McDonald Bryan, last name, first name. You see on the screen, Bryan with a Y. And also you can find us at the On Purpose Growth community. We've got a free community of sales people can join. We give away a lot of stuff. So head over there and join, and we'll see you over there.
Awesome. I think I need to do that, like right now.
Definitely.